So to kind of piggyback off that talk of great year for 2024, our first review for the podcast, we're going to be talking about Nosferatu, one of the last movies to come out in 2024. I saw it a couple days after Christmas. I know you just saw it like yesterday. Um, we can just jump right into it. Quite the movie, quite the flick. Um, I think both of our expectations going in were like really high. It had been getting an insane amount of hype from critics and audiences on Twitter and everything, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a great cast, and almost an even better director. I haven't seen a whole everything that he's done. I've seen The Witch and I've seen The Northman, which is sick. If you haven't seen it,
I've seen The Witch and The Lighthouse.
see, I've not seen The Lighthouse, but The Northman is sick. Um, and then this. So yeah, Robert Eggers, really good kind of up and coming director, I feel like. But I mean, I feel like with this movie, he's kind of like, he's not really up and coming anymore. He's kind of like, hit the limelight a little bit. So, um, yeah, we can just jump right into it. I don't really know what I was expecting with this. I was expecting to be scared. I was expecting some cool cinematography that we've seen from Eggers in the past and some good acting. Um, And I got all of that, but then I got a little bit more of things that I didn't expect. My first thing I want to say about the movie though is good God, the cinematography is so pretty. Oh my God, it's so pretty. It is with the exception of it might even be more so than Dune, but like with the exception of Dune, and like I said, it could be better. I think it's the best shot movie of the year. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The cinematography, the direction. Good Lord. That movie is beautiful to look at. And there's literally so many shots in that movie that like could be a painting, like in a museum. Unbelievable. The one that stands out to me specifically is when Nicholas Holt is walking through the woods to the castle.
The
Oh my
Crossroads.
God.
Dude, I was literally sitting here and I was like, no way. I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way he did this.
Yeah. But yeah, great cinematography, and like I kind of said at the beginning, we kind of had been hearing that it had some good acting performances, and man, did it deliver! Literally, not one bad performance,
No, not
not
one.
not one. Usually with movies like you might get one that's just kind of like, whatever. Nah, every performance was so good. Lily Rose Depp kind of put that movie on her back.
Yeah.
Her and Nick Holt, I guess. Um, can we call Nicholas Holt Nick Holt? I feel like he's earned the right to be called Nick.
Hey, if he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. I'll call him
Yeah.
Nick.
But yeah, Nick Holt and then Skarsgård as Count Orlok. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there?
So I thought, man, I could say so much about this movie. I thought that we were going to see him later in the film, like his actual makeup. And
Yeah, that's usually
should
how
we
like horror
do,
movies go nowadays.
should we do spoiler? I mean,
Yes.
okay, so when she is getting possessed for the first time or whatever, and she goes out into the yard and you see his hand around her throat and it switches to him, I was like,
Yeah, like
already. And I
already?
was like, he looks hideous.
Yeah.
Can't even
No,
tell
good.
it's him.
Yeah. No, it's like similar makeup to me, to like Colin Farrell in the Penguin. Like he just disappears behind the makeup and the prosthetics and stuff. And yeah, like you said, I wasn't expecting to see him until later in the movie, with as much hype it had been getting, and they made sure not to show him in any trailers. Like usually with horror movies, you don't see like the big bad until close to the end, usually. And I think that was the exception this year, along with Long Legs. I think like before I saw Long Legs, I wasn't really expecting to see Nick Cage in it as much as he was in it, but he's literally in it like from the beginning. Similar with this with Nosferatu, you get him right at the beginning, and then you get him all throughout, and then you get. I feel like you don't really see him in full form until like a little later, middle towards the third act of the movie, but you get a lot of him. It's pretty gnarly, it's pretty gross, but um, pretty sick. But yeah, no bad acting. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Um, and then Emma Corrin, I didn't even know that was her until after I saw the
Yeah.
movie.
I was trying to figure out who it was,
Yeah.
and you're gonna laugh at me, but when I first saw her, I thought it was just the female version of Rami Malek. I was so confused. They were twins. I was like,
That's such a weird comp.
I know. I was like sitting there, I was like, wait, what? Um, I will say that it did have one of my favorite sequences of the whole year. When he arrives at Count Orlok's castle the first time, and they're using the light from the fire to like kind of shed light on what he looks like, but not really. And he's just freaking out because obviously, from his perspective, you could probably see his whole face. And he's, doing all these things around him and stuff like that. I thought the sequence in the castle was just like perfect. I really do. Like,
Oh, dude, Nick Holt was so good in this movie. He really
yeah,
was. I mean, probably his best performance that, at least of what I've seen. I haven't seen Juror 2 or The Order, but nah, dude, he was really good too. Because that was a long sequence of him. Like, I feel like Lily Rose Depp wasn't really in like the first hour of the
yeah,
movie. Like,
yeah.
it was kind of Nick Holt. Like, he was
Yep.
leading the movie for the first 45 minutes to an hour, and man, he killed it. He killed it. Uh, the story, I know we both talked about. For me personally, um, I do think the story kind of dragged a little bit. Um, I don't really know what I wanted out of a Nosferatu movie, but maybe just, I mean, there was some crazy stuff in it, but maybe just like more crazy stuff. I don't know. Um, it had a pretty long, kind of drawn out story, and I feel like it could have been a much shorter movie. That doesn't take away from like the quality of the movie or the acting or like the camera work or anything. I just think the story drags a little bit. I think the writing is a little bit, kind of lackluster there. But I would still give it on Letterboxd. I think I gave it like 4 stars. So I mean, still a great movie. That's the only con I can kind of give it.
So after he leaves the castle and kind of everything's going on to where they're trying to get Orlok to the town or whatever,
Mhm.
there was a lot of stuff where I mean it
Just it
obviously
was
was
a lot
important
of
for
it was
them.
getting repetitive. Like it was a
Yeah,
lot of
so
weird dream sequences and
yeah, yeah, or nightmare sequences really. But yeah, I think once he I'm trying to think of like where it picked back up, but I can't remember exactly where it picked back up. But I mean, I was invested in the whole story because I was trying to figure it out. I gave it 3.5 stars. I four like I thought about 4 and 3.5 like for the longest time. I just think the middle part, for me personally, that
kind of
doesn't
dragged
take
it down.
away from any of the storytelling, symbolism, whatever. Is just it's hard to rewatch that movie again for the middle part.
Yep.
But if you did like the castle sequence, the final act. Like, I think it's when Willem Dafoe gets involved is when I got reinvested. By the way, can we talk about his title drop in the movie the first time, where he's like staring away from the camera and he's like, he says something about a plague-ridden beast, vampire, Nosferatu. I was like, that was hard. That
Yeah.
was hard.
Nah, shout out Willem Dafoe.
But then he said it like 5 times and it took away from that one.
He's just good in weird movies like this.
Also, shout out Ralph Ineson.
Innocent, bro.
Is he bad
Galactus.
in anything?
That's Galactus, bro.
Is he bad in anything?
No.
Yeah.
Which gives me hope for Fantastic Four. He's
Um.
got he's got the voice. He's got that voice.
Okay, so we might as well do this now. How we're gonna have to rate movies on this podcast, and we're not gonna use Letterboxd to do it. Do you want to go on a scale of 10 to 100? Do you want to do
Yeah, 1 to 100.
go
I
to
don't care. We
five?
can do a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, however you want to do it.
Hmm, it's hard.
Everyone does
Uh,
it different. IMDb does it like on a scale from 1 to 10. Lights, Camera, Barstool, I know they do 1 to 100. Uh, it's kind of whatever you want to do. I don't know.
let's do 10.
All right, yeah, scale of 1 to 10. So I gave it 4 stars. So I mean, like, kind of about an 8. I would maybe knock it up a little bit, like at 8.2 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard. I would have to go through like all my movies in the year and like actually rate them
Yeah,
with our scale, but I will start doing that this year
yeah,
if that's how we want to do it now.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like 8.2, and I know you gave it 3.5 stars. I mean, that's still like what? It
Yeah,
could
so
be up
that'd be
to
a
like
7. I'd
seven
probably
to
give it.
7.5.
It would probably be closer to a 7.5. Probably be a
Yeah.
7.5 if I had to rate it.
No, yeah, we can do. That's how we can do our rating scale. So I'll kind of start doing that as well.
So 8.2 for you, 7.5 for
I'll
me.
probably give it like an 8. Yeah, 8.1, 8.2, something like that. Definitely enjoyed it. It was a fun time at the theater. A lot of like gasps in my theater. I don't know if your theater was crowded, or you said it was just you, wasn't it?
There were five. Well, initially it was just me. There were five people in the theater.
Yeah. See, my theater was packed, and there was a lot of like, you know,
Nice.
I love seeing horror movies in a packed theater sometimes, but
I'm
sometimes
scared that
it adds to the experience. Sometimes I feel like,
I'm scared of the dark, so I don't want to be by myself.
oh, put in, but yeah. So we both enjoyed Nosferatu. Very different, great performances. I think a couple of those performances should get nominated. I don't think they will because it's a horror movie, but like give Lily Rose Depp, Nick Holt, and even like Skarsgård their flowers. Give Robert Eggers his flowers. Like it's a damn good like made movie. It's really well made. Um, and hopefully we start getting like a lot more high quality stuff from directors like that. Um, so I feel like a lot of filmmaking has been kind of like watered down over the past couple years, and I think maybe streaming has something to do with that. But yeah, shout out Nosferatu. It's definitely a work of art. Not for everyone, but if you're wanting
No,
to be shocked,
not
hey,
for
go for it.
everyone.
Hey, he was just a horny guy, you know? I kind of
So,
feel for him.
so is she, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, shout out Nosferatu.